My name is Dudo and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob, and this is a video of Vaughn sewing together my Vaughn VX1 blocker. So let's take a look at it. Would you look at that? You just saw it being sewn together, and here it is, the final product. So as you saw across the back, you can see the embroidery that I did right there. I'm not explicitly going to say exactly what it is, but I'd like you to comment down below and tell me if you know what this embroidery stands for. As we're looking at the VX1 blocker here, I just want to show off my graphic that I did in white solid, white weave, white quick slide accents, and silver across the face here. Kind of wanted to go with like a 1/100 style graphic. I had a set back when I was getting my masters that was white and silver. That was what I wore in men's league, and I really want to do that here as I really like the look. But first, before I go over all of my specs, I want to talk about the features of the VX1 blocker, so pardon me for reading off the screen behind me. So Vaughn states that it's a carbon reinforced front board for more precise puck control and deflection, deep board top bend for puck deflection, as you can see right there, molded inner core foam board with 17mm thick board for added rigidity, and this board is pretty stiff. And then you have a backhand cushion pad for comfort and protection, which is this nice little piece on the inside here. It makes it feel really plush on the hand. Palm with index finger and small trigger design helps provide for more comfort and grip. So you're going to see a special unique palm shape where there's no extra mesh material on the inside of the finger. You can see it on the outside, and they do that across the pinky just to try to help kind of reduce some of that wear, but you're getting that sure grip on the inside of the palm right here, which works really well. A nice balanced hand position, finger protectors with HD protection and carbon reinforcement, side index finger double layered protection, which you do get a lot of extra protection on the inside of the fingers right here. Large solid side shield, palm design for dexterity and stick control, carbon molded thumb, carbon insert, carbon this, carbon that, tapered bottom edge for tighter sealing down to the ice, pro spec construction, and the biggest one is this floating cup design to increase wrist movement. And that is the best part of this VX1 blocker, is this wrist mobility is stupid comfortable. Now that we've gone over all the stock specs, let me just run down my specs real quick on this set. So pretty much no quick slide on the inside edge, none on the pads, just on the face here for accents. White heat transfer, and I did the white heat transfer on the back. I tried to get as much weave as possible to replace the white nylon. So instead of this area being white nylon, it is weave. We got the backhand of the blocker in weave. And there's only a few areas of white nylon, which is the inside of the sidewall here. And that was just so that you could actually like close everything off, as that when I made this weave, Ev said it was really tough to put back together, so I actually had to undo it. So we had to go with the white nylon across there, and the back inside of the fingers are white nylon, but he did do some cool white strapping for me as well. And then the last part he did for me too is a full intermediate palm, so I wanted everything nice and tight. A little bit of a green stainage from the pro grip I was using. I'm actually going to try to get away from using grip tape next season, but that's the cool little part of it right there. Did get to use this blocker one time, and while I'm not doing a full review of it now, I'm just showing off my specs, I did just want to say I am a big fan of this blocker right here. But now that you've seen me talk about the stock specs and my custom specs, I want to show you guys the sweet photo of my VX1 glove. So let's take a look at that now. So in that photo you were just looking at, it looked a little interesting because the glove was basically fully laced together, but there's a few pieces kind of taken apart. A few things are a little bit different. And the reason why that happened is because there's a miscommunication on my spec sheet and what Vaughn ended up putting together. So I was actually missing some of the white weave and that material swap on the backhand. I originally used the glove with that weave, without the weave on the backhand, but I told Ev my thoughts on it, and he said, you know, let's get this glove fixed for you. So got it sent back to Vaughn, got it fixed. So that's what that photo is from. Talk about what I'm gonna have on the backhand for so long that I might as well just show it. And what we're looking at here is a full white weave backhand of the glove. I wanted the glove to be as white as humanly possible. In all the areas that were nylon, I wanted swapped out to weave. So pretty much every area on this glove that was nylon is swapped out to weave. Of course, I kept the nylon bindings, which is why I did the gray kind of pop there. Also, yes, that's gray versus silver. Those properly match. The silver nylon is a different shade. But yeah, so that's the quick little thought on that. And across the backhand here, full weave accents, as much white on the Velcro as possible. And I actually removed the back wrist pad. This was ordered direct from Vaughn. I did not want anything back on the wrist. They talked about having great glove mobility, so that's why I wanted to have it removed right there. Now let's run over some of the stock specs, and I'll show you my thoughts on the closure of the glove as well. So Vaughn says we have an open design maximizing pocket and glove size, which this glove does present pretty well. Wider and deeper T-web design, one-piece cuff and thumb, easy close design, Kevlar padding on inner palm, shock shield palm and thumb base, molded palm. Then we're going to get deeper back thumb profile, double layer reinforced finger perimeter edge, 3D mesh liner, HD foam in the back pad over the fingers, which is very comfortable. You can feel it. Then we have the fingertip deflecting rail with HD foams, full pro spec NHL spec design, carbon reinforced top tee, inner hand strap, cuff with no binding maximizes the blocking surface, a full 45-inch perimeter, a 50-degree angle closure, and then mesh finger stalls, added padding in the wrist, heat moldable for precise fit, and we got a lot of great points in this glove to help in the closure. Summarizing all of that, this glove feels like a Bauer Supreme, a CCM True 600 style break, like a Warrior 75-degree angle, and I am a huge fan of the closure of this glove. So this is what it's looking like after one single use and one relace, and that looks absolutely phenomenal. So it is a very easily closing glove right out of the box, real short cuff, a lot of catching surface, and that's what I like in my catch gloves. I've really grown to like this natural kind of 75-degree-ish closure, this presentation, so I'm really liking that. That's why I wanted to stick with the VX1 gloves. I've really liked that design. Some of the other points I did here was that on the stock glove, we had a double T, pretty much your regular palm. I pretty much stuck with that, beefed it up a tiny little bit. And then my biggest mod that I did, and this is something I do on all of my Vaughn gloves, is I actually do what's called floating the thumb side T. So instead of this T going all the way into the perimeter of the glove, like going all the way back down here like some T's do, it actually stops just on the inside of the binding. So as I press down, I'm actually not pressing any of the T, and that makes for that easier close and that easier design. You're kind of taking away that extra rigid point right there to get a pretty solid closure off the glove. So that was my biggest mod that I did. And then of course, removing the back wrist cuff, all the material changes. So that's what I did. Did you get a chance to figure out the embroidery yet? Comment down below and let me know if you figured it out. With this Vaughn glove right here, I've just really enjoyed it. I liked all the little mods I got to do, all the little special changes I got to do, and this glove has been working very well for me. I'm a big fan of this feel right here. I also just love the all white look with some of the extra texture of the quick slide versus solid. I think it looks pretty sweet. But now that I've talked at length about the glove, I'm going to show them the sweet video of Vaughn lacing my pads together, and then we're going to talk about some of the stock specs and my custom specs as well. This is my VX1 pad here in a 32+1, of course in the matching white solid, white weave, white quick slide accents, and the silver graphic as well. No quick slide on the inside edge, don't need it. Never needed to have anything extra special and gimmicky there to help in the slide. I've always just found weave worked well, so I decided to stick with it. Let's read through some of the stock Vaughn specs while we look at this sweet graphic right here. So firm internal core with HD side rails for greater pad stability, leading for, not as much twisting in the pad or a lot of that torsion, which you're not getting in the VX1. A composite core tech for superior performance and durability. Easy flex lower scoop design. Integrated knee landing, basically a one-piece-ish knee block. Extended back leg coverage, which I'll talk more about that strapping in a second. A lower profile outside roll. +2 design, that's just for the stock pad. I did the +1. Then we have the two-way adjustable knee cradle strap, which basically means you can strap it across or down to the calf. Then we have the wide knee cradle center for quick rotation and control. A wider inner knee landing surface, so you're going to see this is maximized for how much area you get to land on. 3 knee roll design with flat knee rolls. Yes, they are flattened, they barely stick off the pad, but aesthetics, some people just really like seeing the knee roll on the pad. Full pro spec, NHL spec construction, inner foam core with carbon surface reinforcement. So I'm really liking how it's like a stiffer inside edge to the pad now. Pad shape maximizes the full width from top and bottom for the 11-inch wide. Taper outside roll, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. Reinforce instep with flat profile to facilitate skate movement during rotation, and fully custom domestic spec and option. With all of that being said, 32+1 pad. You basically have a half integrated knee block that goes into the core of the pad. So it gives you a pretty solid feel, but it still gives you a good enough flex to feel like a two-piece, but it seals like a one-piece. Vaughn has actually reduced the outside roll and the outer edge of the pad. They've reduced it for Vaughn specs. Of course, there's thinner out there, but with this thinner outer roll, this thinner outer gusset, while still giving you some good kind of stability, makes for the top half of the pad to overlap easier. And that's why a lot of people are starting to reduce that outside edge. You don't really need that extra +2, +3. The thinner outer edge makes for pads to overlap easier. Now let's spin around and look at my specs. I did a gray leg channel. It is not silver, it is gray, and I did all extended length straps. The only mod I did to the back half of the pad is I moved this knee lock in 1 inch when I used the demo 33+2 with the normal length sticking out. I thought that the material was going to rip, so I decided to not go with that. So I tried to tighten it up right here to get a little bit of a tighter knee area. So that's what I ended up doing, and it worked great for the one time I used these. This internal leg channel looks pretty familiar, huh? Looks kind of like another brand that's out there, but hey, you know what? It works well. 2 straps, top and bottom. I did the XL, or like the large length straps, if you will, and they actually can be fully adjusted and removed across the inside right here. But if you would like to undo them, it's actually easier if you actually just undo the strap and then move it out here. As this one, it's kind of like a little like Pac-Man design, so it's not as easy to take off. So it's a little different. You are actually wearing a true pad, but this is how you put on the Vaughn strap right here. You just double it back onto itself, and boom, now you have some tight internal strapping. On the Vaughn Customizer, you can actually get this put on the inside edge of the pad if you want it to be even tighter, but I prefer it like this to keep this wrapped around your leg. When you look at the outer gusset of the pad, this is where I did a few more changes. I did not want the sewn on logo on the outside edge of the pad. Since the glove and the blocker have heat transfers on the face and on the back, I wanted there to be another heat transfer on the side just to match that texture and that detail. So I did a white heat transfer, and I did a white weave outer gusset. It does make the pad a little bit stiffer, but I kind of wanted that. But that's just because I wanted as much white as possible when I drop down and when I look, and I did not want there to be that white nylon getting dirty. So white weave change right there. It is going to bunch up a tiny little bit right here. I probably should have asked Vaughn to put a stitch right there just to try to hold the material down and put a little break in the material. But hey, you know what? I think it looks really clean as is right there. So you are getting a little bit more of a flexible boot across the pad. It's not totally like flexible and torsional. And then you're getting this nice flat boot on the inside right here, where the lace actually does not run through it right here. That's not a mistake. That's for easy transition of your skate moving around and back and forth. With all that being said about the flat boot, you're having this a little bit of a stiffer profile. I've seen some other people put out videos saying that these run big. I don't think they do. I mean, I wear a 32+1 in all of my pads and they all fit pretty much exactly the same. So I didn't need to do anything extra special to size up or size down or whatever. I just stuck with my normal size and they fit great. So take that as you will. Maybe those people were saying that, you know, maybe they felt too big because they were wearing their last pad too big. Now that they're sizing appropriately, they had to size down. I mean, it's possible. But now that I've talked at length about all of my specs and all the stock stuff, I'm going to show some cool video of me using my demos. So when I first reached out to Ev, I told him I want to try the VX1s. He only had a 33+2 sample available, so he sent that over to me. And while I knew they were going to be too big, I wasn't totally worried just because I've worn a 33 before, and I figured if they felt big in the same areas I was expecting, I'd be safe to order that 32+1. And that's exactly what happened. I love the stock glove, love the stock blocker. Just want to make a few small changes to the internals for the hand size and things like that. And then of course the graphic, removing the cuff, just those small details. And then I love the pads. The only big change I made was just, you know, extending the straps a little bit more and then pulling that knee lock in a little bit more to tighten it up and not worry about that lace ripping out. I mean, they worked great. I mean, as you can see in this clip right here, I did have to fiddle with the strapping quite a bit to try to figure out if I was going across the knee or going down. But other than the pads feeling big, I mean, they're still sealing well, they're moving well. I just felt they were really big and they were really clunky. I did get to use that demo set twice, and that was when I decided that yes, I need a 32+1. I decided on getting a pretty simple graphic with a lot of white, and I think they came out looking great. While there's no video of me using this set specifically here, I will be posting more about it later in the summer. But until then, just enjoy this video here of me using the demo set. So now that you've heard about all the stock features, you've heard about all of my custom mods I did across this set for the material changes, spec changes, etc., I want you to comment down below and let me know what you think of the Velocity line. Is this something that you'd be willing to try? Is this something that you feel that you want it to be an even softer style pad, a harder pad, whatever? Just comment down below and let me know what you think of that Velocity pad. And of course, let me know if you figured out what that embroidery means. So I'm not going to have a full review coming out yet. I am still taking some time off through the summer. I did start a new job recently of going back to Goalie Monkey and doing a lot of the custom orders there. And I'm honestly just enjoying a little bit of time off as I'm not entirely needed during the playoff run. I'm just pretty much going to be used throughout the practices in the summer and then kind of on a standby mode right now, like a true emergency basis. So I'm not going to be using this set even more. I did use it one time in the first round during an injury skate when I was called upon, but I don't think I'm going to be needing to use it here for the next little bit. Until we get to see that video come out in the summer of me showing off this set on the ice and doing a more in-depth review, please enjoy this video here of learning about the specs of the Velocity VX1 gear. Until then, my name is Dudo and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob, and make sure you share this video out to a friend.
You want it from me? Oh.
If you'd like to learn more about what NHL goalies are wearing, click that gear breakdown playlist right there. And if you're interested more in learning about my original Vaughn V10 review, click that video right there.